Om. Om. श्री गणेशाय नमः। श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। अन्तर्यश्च बहिर्विधूततिमिरं ज्योतिर्मयं शाश्वतं स्थानं प्राप्य विराजते विनमताम् अज्ञानमुन्मूलयन्। पश्यन् विश्वमपीदमुल्लसति यो विश्वस्य पारे परः तस्मै श्रीरमणाय लोकगुरवे शोकस्य हन्त्रे नमः। सर्वेभ्यः सादरं वन्दनानि। Prostrations to all. We are seeing a text called Saddarshanam. It is a composition by Ramana Maharshi. Ramana Maharshi is a well-known saint, a teacher, philosopher from South India. Before we go into or before we go into the core of this text, before we actually start with this text, let us understand or let us know what this text is. In reality, the text originally is in Dravida Vang, that is Tamil language. It is called as Ulladu Narapadu. I hope I am pronouncing it right, but literally it means 40 verses on reality. 40 verses on reality. That Tamil text was later translated by a very good Sanskrit poet and philosopher known as Kavyakantha Vasishtha Ganapati Muni, a very scholarly person. He translated that original Tamil text into Sanskrit, now which has 44 verses, and that text is now known as Saddarshanam or Saddarshana without Sanskrit vibhakti pratyayas. The text is Saddarshana. Now what this text is? It is the vision of truth. Why so? That explanation we will see later. But before that, let us know the background of this text or background of the composer of this text, that is Ramana Maharshi. The Dhyana shloka that was chanted, Antaryasya Bahirvidhutatimiram, it is a shloka from the set of 40 verses which were composed by Vasishtha Ganapati Muni himself on Ramana Maharshi. Ramana Maharshi ji was born in South India in a village in Tamil Nadu, and from childhood itself He used to go in trance, self-reflection. He used to lose the awareness of the world. That was his nature. He had intense desire to go to Arunachala. The Arunachala is a mountain which itself is worshipped as Jyotirlinga. It is said that the mountain itself is the embodiment of Shiva. Now, Raman Maharshi's father was a lawyer by profession, but when Raman Maharshi was small, at that time itself, father passed away. Later, when one of the relatives who had come to visit Raman Maharshi at house, he heard that this Arunachala is in Tiruvannamalai. This Arunachala is in Tiruvannamalai, and then Raman Maharshi ji decided to himself that by any means he is going to go there and visit and prostrate and worship his Aradhya Devata, his desired deity. Now, when he reached there, now how to go? First of all, how to reach there? Because in those days, this is somewhere around 1896. Now, the mode of travel was not as good as now it is today. So, how to reach there? So, he found out the way. He said he came to know that you have to take train, you have to reach certain station, and then from there onwards you have to go further. So, Raman Maharshi ji took, at that time he was known as Venkataramana. His original name was Venkataramana. He took some money from the fees that were to be paid for college or school. He took that money, went to railway station. There he came to know that that money is not sufficient. So he pawned his earrings, borrowed some money, used that money to purchase one-way ticket, not return ticket. At that time itself, he had decided that once he is going to go there, he is not going to come back. With that intense dispassion, desire for Shiva, desire for Arunachala in his heart, Venkataramana left for Arunachala. Before he left his house, he had written a note, and in that note he had specified that don't come looking for me. Don't waste money searching for me. Don't worry about me. Then he took that train. He reached Tiruvannamalai. He reached Arunachala. As he entered the temple, he said, on your command, I have come to you. I have surrendered to you. Now I am yours. Do as you please. And then there Venkataramana stayed in silence, in seclusion. Later on, he was discovered by some people, then he was fed, etc. The story continues. When Vasishtha Ganapati Muni came searching for a guru, and he came to know about Venkataramana, he approached him, and then the name Ramana Maharshi was given by Vasishtha Ganapati Muni to Venkataramana. At that time, Venkataramana or Ramana Maharshi ji was known as Brahmana Swami. That is the later part of the story when we will see the story of Vasishtha Ganapati Muni. So during that time, Ramana Maharshi ji stayed in one of the caves in Arunachala and did severe penance. Later, Ramana Maharshi ji's mother came to stay with him and she passed away. Ramana Maharshi ji left his mortal coil, his body, in 1950. at the age of 71. Raman Maharshiji's life should be studied, should be looked into with purpose. The amount of dispassion that he had, the vairagya, the brahmanishtata, oneness with the truth that he had, is something which we all should desire for. There is a very beautiful incident in his life which I recall and which I would like to share. So as we know the greatness of Raman Maharshi ji. One day in his teaching he said that I never sleep. And when he said I never sleep, he was referring to the individual self, Atman. Atma, he never sleeps because sleep is for Sukshma Sharira, subtle body. It is not for Atma, the individual self or true self. He said that I never sleep. And one of the devotees, a person who was there, he heard that. He stayed around. Then Raman Maharshi ji went in trance. Maybe he must have slept. That reference is not available. But later, that person asked Raman Maharshi ji, Raman Maharshi ji, you said earlier that you never sleep. You said that I never sleep. But I saw you sleeping. How is it so? You said that you never sleep, but I saw you sleeping. When this question was asked, Raman Maharshi ji answered, yes, I also saw myself sleeping. I saw it too. That is the vision of oneness, Sat, the truth. As the other person saw this gross body falling asleep or sleeping, in the same way, I as self also saw this gross body fall asleep. That is being one with the reality, the truth, Sat. Thus, this text Saddarshanam is very important. Now, the original name is different in Tamil, which translates to 40 verses on the reality. There are two verses in the beginning. One is of Mangalacharana and one is another praising Lord Shiva. Then the main body of the text contains 40 verses, and additionally to in the end, two verses have been composed by Ganapati Muniji in Sanskrit. So this Sanskrit translation of the original, the Sanskrit translation of the original text is known as Saddarshanam, which has 44 verses. So the text that we have in front of us has 44 verses. Now, the translator of this text, Vasishtha Ganapati Muni, he was a great scholar. He was a very great scholar, and at the age of 22, he was given the title Kavya Kantha. Kavya Kantha for his command on the language and poetry. He was great scholar, well versed in different darshana, nyaya, vyakarana, etc. He had come to South India around Tiruvannamalai for uh, looking for a guru. Actually, he had come for his job, but that time he came to know about Brahmana Swami. Someone is there in Tiruvannamalai in Arunachala. When he came to see Brahmana Swami, that is Raman Maharshi ji, there was complete silence for 10 to 12 minutes. Neither of them spoke. Ganapati Muniji had come there seeking how to do penance. He wanted to know how a tapasya should be done. What is tapasya? What is penance? How austerity should be done. What is austerity? And there, Raman Maharshi ji gave him the direction. And at that moment, Vasishtha Ganapati Muni ji realized that he is my Guru. And he prostrated and surrendered. Then Vasishtha Ganapati Muni ji gave the title, the name Ramana Maharshi, which became famous. The teachings of Ramana Maharshi ji. Let us come to that part. There are many different texts which are available, which have been composed by Ramana Maharshi ji. His teachings mainly are in two well-known texts. One is Upadesha Sara and another one is Saddarshanam. One is Upadesha Sara, another one is Saddarshanam. Very beautiful text. Both of them are Prakarana Grantha. Now, these texts have a very special mode or way of teaching. Ramana Maharshi's teaching itself is very much special. Why is it so? Because it does not delve or does not go into details of the world outside, rather it asks who you are, who this individual self is, who is this I which I am referring to. His question used to be simple. If somebody asks question, I am sorrowful, what should I do? His question used to be very simple and straightforward. Who is this I? And this question, when understood, when first question is understood and answer is sought, answer is found, that answer itself becomes the vision of reality, the truth. Let us analyze simply. Let us say, I am looking for something or someone. There is a very beautiful example which used to be given by Swami Chinmayananji. So he used to explain it very beautifully. He says, while in Varanasi, he was traveling there, and just on the outskirts of Varanasi, he saw a pot, mud pot. He saw a pot running around, walking briskly. So he would continue in his words. He'd say, I was wondering, I was really surprised looking at that pot who was briskly walking towards Varanasi, towards Kashi. So I stopped him and asked him, tell me, where are you going? The pot said, I am going to Kashi to meditate and to know what is mud. What mud pot said? Mud pot answered that his desire is to go to Kashi and meditate and know what is mud. So I asked him, who are you? He said, I am a pot. I am not asking the shape or the name of you. I am asking, who are you? I am a curd pot. I am not asking the contents which are in you. I am asking, who are you? I am so and so person's pot. No, I am not asking for who your owner is. I am asking, who are you? Who you are. That's what my question is. And then in the end, Swami Chinmayananji would end this example with simple sentences. How far is mud from that pot? How far is pot from the mud? They are not different at all. The pot is nothing but clay or mud, that which it is trying to know. In the same way, Raman Maharshi ji asks directly, who are you? Who is this individual self that you are trying to know? Or that is sorrowful, or that one who is asking question? Know that, and all sorrows will go away. That is the vision of truth, Saddarshanam. With this, we come to the name of this text, Saddarshana. We have already seen Saddarshana, the translation is vision of truth. Sat, Sataha. Saddarshana is a compound word. Sataha darshanam Saddarshanam. Sataha darshanam Saddarshanam. Sataha of truth. Darshanam. Now, this is a very beautiful word. Literally translated, it is vision. But it's not just vision. Understand its implied sense and the deeper meaning. Darshana, the word, is composed or is made up of drush dhatu. The root word is drush, darshane, to see, and then it has lid pratyaya, etc. We will not go into the deeper etymology, but darshana. Darshana has a different meaning in Indian knowledge systems. What is darshana? Now there are uh, 6 darshana, astika darshana, and 3 nastika darshana in Indian knowledge systems. We will not go into the details which they are, but the point that I'm trying to make, or I'm trying to grab your attention at this word darshana. Usually, loosely it is translated as philosophy. But it is not just philosophy. It is much more deeper, much more vast, and much more profound. Why is it so? Understand. It is not just the philosophy, but what it is composed of. Whenever it is said darshana, it refers to understanding. It refers to understanding, and something to be called as darshana, it has to satisfy certain prerequisites, which all will be combined to form certain understanding. In this way, darshana really refers to understanding, which is nothing but vision. My understanding, my knowledge, my vision. That's why vision of truth. And this understanding is not just random understanding or random understanding of something else, general understanding of some text, some siddhanta, some doctrine, or some rule. For example, do you know gravity? Do you understand gravity? In a way, yes. I know what gravity is. It is that force because of which I am able to walk on earth. My feet, they are always on the ground, and I am not chucked away. I don't go flying away from this ground. It is a force that pulls two objects together. That is the general understanding of gravity or gravitational force. But when further inquired into, if deeper meaning is inquired into, or it is asked, how does it function? What are its rules? What are its formulas? What is the amount of force, etc.? I may not be able to answer that. So this is general understanding, but when it is said about darshana, it is not just general understanding, but that vision where conviction comes into picture. Where conviction comes into picture. That is, whatever that I know, I'm convinced about that knowledge. And with that knowledge, all my daily activities are controlled. All my daily activities roam around, are formulated around that conviction. That is called darshana. It is not just loose philosophy of my life. It's not like that. It's not my philosophy of life. It is the philosophy of life. The darshana. Why the? Why such specific? Because darshana, when it is said, something to be called as darshana, as I said earlier, it needs to satisfy certain questions, prerequisites. What is it? Whenever it is said darshana, it has to answer certain things. There is a detailed explanation. We will not go into that much detail, but in general, we will see what darshana is. Let us say, if I ask you the question, are you experiencing this world? Yes. What this world is made up of? What is it made up of? Darshana, right? What this world is made up of? This world, then you will say, okay, this world is made up of so many things. There are 108 elements. Okay. So you mean to say that there are 108, now it must be 118 which are artificially generated, made. We are not going to go into that specifics, but let us stick to 108 elements. So it is made up of all these elements. Okay. So the entire world, this creation is made up of these certain elements. Now, how did it come about? How did it start? Where is the beginning? What is the process of creation? Next question, which may be difficult to answer, which may be disregarded as foolish, but the question is, if this creation has come about, is there a creator for this creation? Now there are multiple factors to this question. Is this Saddarshana? Is that creator independent of this creation? Is he really there? Or without any independent creator, the creation has come about? Did it just occur with the elements that were present? Or was there someone who actively created this creation or actively took part in creating this entire world? Then who are you? Who is me? Who is this I? Who am I? And are you experiencing sorrows and happiness? If you are experiencing sorrows, is there a way to get out of it? These are the general questions. In Shastra, these questions refer to Tattva Vichara. The Tattva, the elements or the things from which the creation has come about. This world is made up of. It is called as Tattva Vichara. Then comes what are the means of knowledge that you take up? What are the means of knowledge? Means of knowledge that by which I come to know certain thing. There are different means of knowledge, direct perception, inference, etc. What means of knowledge are accepted by you? Is it just direct perception? Or do you also take inference into account? Do you also take verbal testimony when someone utters some statement, and when you understand that statement, that also is accepted as means of knowledge? What is it? Based on those means of knowledge and Tattva Vichara, the things from which this world, entire creation is made up of, further things differ. Then the question comes, who is Ishvara? What do you say about Ishvara, the creator? Is he there or not? What is his nature? Who is Jiva? Who you are? Who is this individual self? Then comes Achara Vichara and Bandha Moksha Vichara. What is bondage? What is liberation? And how that liberation can be achieved. What is liberation? Simply put, Atyantika Dukkha Nivrutti Paramananda Vapti. Total cessation of sorrows and gaining of eternal happiness. Is that not what we all desire for? Yes. We all desire for total cessation of sorrows and gaining of happiness. That's all what we desire for. Now, coming to Darshana, Sataha Darshanam, Saddarshanam, the vision of truth, the conviction that this is the reality, the truth. Do you mean to say what I am experiencing right now, the Sat, is different from that? That's why the text has begun. Let's say simple thing. Sat Darshana. Why Sat Darshana? Darshana refers to vision, seeing. Seeing is including all perceptions. Why so? Because the primary importance is given to seeing, drushti. What we see with our eyes, the name and form, that is given a priority. That is given a precedence or importance whenever we perceive something. Later, it comes to hearing, then smell, then taste, then touch, etc. But most of our knowledge comes from seeing. That's why darshana, it is said darshana, vision or seeing. Why word darshana? Seeing is used. That's why. Now, let's say I perceive the world around me. I'm seeing this world. Then what about a person who cannot see, who is blind? Is he not perceiving the world around? Yes, he is. Can he feel the names and forms as I see? He may not be able to see, but he does feel them. If you hand him certain object, he will feel that object with his hands and he will know. You hand him certain note, currency note. He will feel with his hands and he will know what the denomination is. Is it 10 rupee note, 20 rupee note or 100 rupee note? He is able to perceive. Is it not? Yes. So with all through our five senses, through our five senses, that is seeing, hearing, smelling, touching, tasting, etc., we are able to perceive the world around. We perceive the world around through these five senses. If any one of these senses is not functioning properly, we are perceiving only the four-fifth. Let us say I am not able to hear. That means I am able to perceive the world around four-fifth. One-fifth capacity has been lost. Yet all my activities go on normally. How so? With sign language, we are able to convey, we are able to speak. Is it not? Yes. Now, this is not enough. To all my perceptions, something is added, and that is done by my intellect. My intellect adds many things to all those perceptions, and what is that? Likes, dislikes, anger, sorrow, etc. I perceive, I see very beautiful, sweet laddu garnished with beautiful color, silver, thin silver paper, or saffron, cardamom, etc. Imagine very beautiful laddu or payasam, kheer. Now, I have perceived, I have known that object, yet if I am suffering with diabetes, that is going to create sorrow. Even though I desire, because I am not able to eat that thing, I will be sorrowful. And if I am not suffering from diabetes, and if I am able to eat that thing, and if I get that thing in my hand, I am happy. Furthermore, these are general experiences, additional experience. Let us say, while walking down the road, I see water far away. It's a very long road. There is not much tree or shade on that road. It's afternoon time, and far away in the distance, I see water. What will be my first thought? How come on the road there is water when the road is so hot because of this afternoon sun? Water should have got evaporated, but still I am seeing water. Maybe a tanker has tanker was leaking, and from tanker the water has leaked, and therefore there is water possible. Or the other possibility is it is mirage. It is not real water, but the play of rays of the sun, the heat on my mind. I am perceiving the world. I am perceiving that water, but is it real? This is the question. We may believe all our sense perceptions. We may say that these sense perceptions are my means of knowledge, but yet they deceive us all the time. We may inquire, we may think about the sense perceptions for a very long time as a topic. Are these going to are these useful in knowing truth, reality? Interestingly, how much ever we may take them to be real, we know the limitations of these senses. Is it not? The same example, mirage water. Even though we are seeing, we say it's not real. The special effects which we see in movies or 3D holograms, even though we are seeing them, they are not real. Certain 3D paintings, they appear because of the colors, the play of shadow in those pictures. Those appear as three-dimensional. There is a hollow ditch, there is a tunnel. It may appear to be so, but it's not really there. So all our perceptions are not necessarily giving us the information which is true, real. Of course, it is relatively real, but it is not absolutely real. From where did this discussion start? This discussion started from Darshana and Sat, vision of truth. All our perceptions are limited by their own functions and own capacities. Okay, let us increase that capacity. So even after we increase the capacity of our senses, are they really giving us the knowledge of the truth? What the truth, the reality is? Here comes the next question. What is truth? This question is largely missed out. We may talk about truth, my truth, own truth, etc. So many things are talked about. I would not deny them their ideas, but my simple question is, what is truth? What is true? If something changes, can that be called as truth? Let us say, or let us take simple example. This cloth is white in color. But if I make this cloth change its color and now it changes to blue color, what is the color of the cloth? You cannot say it is white or you cannot say it is blue. If something keeps on changing, if something keeps on changing, can any of its form, can any of its name, or can any of its color, or can that object be called as true or the truth? It cannot. Because it is keeping on, it keeps changing. It is changing continuously moment by moment. That's why that object cannot be referred to as true or the truth. That's why it is very important to know the definition of the truth. And the truth has been defined in Vedanta, in Darshana Shastra, in Indian knowledge systems as that which does not change in all three periods of time. That which never changes. That which never gets destroyed. Abadhyatvam satyatvam kalatrayepi tisthati iti sat. That which stays as it is in all three periods of time, meaning it was same in past, exactly the same it is right now, and it will be the same in future. It is not affected by past, present, or future. It is not affected by time. That is truth. When we say this, can the world around us, which is experienced by us, be called as truth or true or real? Even sciences, the modern science, has questioned the reality of this world. Yes, we have to accept the reality of this world, but it is not absolute. It is continuously changing, and with that idea in mind, we have to act in this world. Nobody can deny all our perceptions and experiences. If I'm walking down the road, I cannot say this world is not real, the reality is something different, and I cannot walk in the middle of the road. That would be foolish. When I refer to this body, when I'm walking down the road, I am walking down the road with this body. When this body comes into picture, the entire creation also comes into picture, and this body and entire creation has same plane of reality. They interact with each other. That's why I have to abide by the rules of the nature, rules of the world around me. But that is not the absolute reality. Then what is the absolute reality? That is the question. And knowing that absolute reality, the knowledge of that absolute reality is the vision of truth, Sat Darshana. Knowing that, or the vision of that truth, is the topic of this text, with which we come to Anubandha Chatushtaya of this text. Anubandha Chatushtaya is four things referring to any text. What is Anubandha? Jnanam yat pravartakam, knowledge that prompts me to take up the study of anything. Knowledge that prompts, simply put. It is adhikari, adhikari, the fit student, eligibility. Vishaya, the topic. Sambandha, the relation between two. And prayojana, purpose. With this text, or referring to this text, who is adhikari? Who is the adhikari of this text? The one who wants to know the truth is the adhikari. Vishaya, the Sat, vision of truth itself, is the topic of this text. Sambandha, the relation. This text is revealer and the topic is revealed. And prayojana, the purpose of this text, is same as any other Vedantic text, that is moksha, or in other words, atyantika dukkha nivrutti paramananda prapti, or total cessation of sorrows and gaining of happiness. With this understanding of Saddarshana, its purpose, let us know one thing. This text is not refuting anything or not establishing any particular school of thought. It is not trying to deny, or it is not trying to discredit something, or it is not trying to establish something which is different. It does not take up analysis of any duties, what karma should be done, what should be done, what should not be done, etc. It is not going to go into those details. It is not going to go into details or into ethics, moral codes and conducts. It is just the revelation of the truth, the experience of the truth which Raman Maharshi ji had. Whatever that he experienced, he has composed in form of verses and presented to us. In this way, it is a very unique text. Let's see the first verse and let us begin with the text. In this very first verse, Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi ji explain what is Saddarshana and how can we gain that Saddarshana. He says, Satpratyaya kinnu vihaya santam हृद्येष चिंता रहितो हृदाख्यः कथं स्मरामस्तममेयमेकं तस्य स्मृतिस्तत्र दृढैव निष्ठा. Once again, सत्प्रत्ययाः किन्नु विहाय सन्तं हृद्येष चिंता रहितो हृदाख्यः कथं स्मरामस्तममेयमेकं तस्य स्मृतिस्तत्र दृढैव निष्ठा. Anvaya, the prose will be Santam Vihaya. Satpratyaya kinnu Vihaya Santam. Santam Vihaya. Santam Vihaya. Santam, existence. Vihaya, giving up. Giving up the existence. Santam Vihaya. Satpratyayaha. Pratyaya, thoughts. Sat, existence. Thoughts of existence. Kinnu. Kinnu, can there be? Eshaha, this. Rut Akhyaha, named as, called as Rut. Hrudi, in heart. Chinta Rahitaha. Chinta Rahitaha, Chinta. Chinta is not here the sorrows or thinking. It is thoughts, just thoughts. Chinta Rahitaha, without thought. Tam Ameyam, Ameyam, Meya, measurable. Ameya, not measurable. That which is not measurable, immeasurable. Ekam, Ekam, one. Katham smaramaha, how can we remember? Tasya smritihi, remembering that. Tatra, therein. Dridha eva nishtha, dridha, firm. Nishtha, abidance. Eva, alone. What it means is, Santam vihaya satpratyayaha kinnu. Can there be thoughts of existence of objects without the existence principle? Very beautiful question. Can there be thoughts of the existence of something without the existence principle? What is it? The details we are going to see later, but we are just going to see the general meaning right now. No, it is not possible. This existence called as Rut, this existence which is called as Rut, which is there in one's own heart, Hrudi, free from thoughts. Eshaha Hridakyaha, this existence called as Rut, Eshaha, this existence, Hridakyaha called as Rut, Hrudi, Chinta Rahitaha, in our heart without any thoughts. It is there in our heart without any thoughts. So when the mind becomes thoughtless, that which remains is that existence. How can we remember that immeasurable existence? How can we know that? Can we remember it? Now, we can remember something which is already known, or we can remember something which is different from me, for which it is said, its remembrance in its form is in the form of firm abidance in it. It is not remembering something else, but abiding in that existence is its remembrance. So, having mind thoughtless, being thoughtless, is abiding in that Sat, remembering that Sat. Katham smaramastamameyamekam tasya smritihi tatra dridhaiva nishtha tasya smritihi. What is remembering that existence? How do we remember that existence? Abiding in that existence itself. By abiding in that existence itself, we are remembering that existence. Sat pratyaya kinnu vihaya santam. This is the first verse. Now, usually, or not usually, all the time, all texts in our tradition, they start with Mangala Charana, auspicious beginning. There are three types of Mangala Charana. One is Ashirvadatmaka, that which seeks or gives blessing. One is Namaskaratmaka, prostrating to someone or something. And one is Vastu Nirdeshatmaka, where something or Vastu or the truth has been indicated. Here, this verse is revealing or remembering the truth. That's why, because it is indicating the truth, it is called as Vastu Nirdeshatmaka Mangalacharana. How so? By the word Sat itself, the Mangala has been done. The auspicious beginning has been done. By saying the word Sat, that existence principle has been remembered, that Vastu, the truth, has been indicated, and by that itself, the auspicious beginning has been done. Now, the meaning of this verse in detail, we will see next time in our next class. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om